The other day, I was catching up with a friend, and our conversation took a pretty serious turn. We started talking about breakups and how hard it can be to move on. He just got out of a long-term relationship, and after a few months of trying to keep busy, trying to stay positive, he realized something. He was stuck. He couldn't let go. It didn't matter how much time had passed or how much he distracted himself with work and hobbies. Every time he had a moment of quiet, it all came flooding back. And that's the thing about moving on. We all think it's just going to happen with time, right? You hear it all the time. Time heals all wounds. But if you've ever been in that place, whether it's a breakup, losing a loved one, or even just letting go of a version of yourself you used to be, you know that's not always how it works. See, the real art of letting go isn't just about waiting it out. It's about consciously deciding to let go of what's holding you back. And it's not easy. Letting go means you're giving up something familiar, something that once felt good or comforting. Even if it doesn't serve you anymore, the thought of leaving it behind feels scary. The first thing I told my friend was, you've got to give yourself permission to grieve. And it's true. Whether it's a breakup or a big life change, we don't give ourselves enough credit for the emotional toll it takes on us. We try to brush it off, distract ourselves with Netflix or scrolling on our phones, but in the end, all we're doing is pushing the feelings down. And what happens? They come back. Usually when you least expect them, like when you're alone at 3 a.m., and suddenly all the emotions hit you at once. So if you're stuck in that place right now, still holding on to something or someone you've lost, step one is to allow yourself to feel it. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel angry. Give yourself that space, because you can't let go of something you're refusing to acknowledge. Now, once you've given yourself the time to feel, the next step is asking yourself, why am I still holding on? This is where it gets real. A lot of people hold on to the past because they're afraid of what's next. My buddy, for example, kept looking back at his relationship because deep down he was scared he'd never find anyone else. That fear is what kept him clinging to those memories, even though the relationship had already ended. The fear of the unknown is powerful, man. It convinces us that what we had, even if it wasn't right for us, is better than what's ahead. But here's the truth. Moving on doesn't mean you're forgetting what happened. It just means you're choosing to accept that it's over. It means you're ready to open yourself up to new possibilities, to new experiences. And yeah, that's terrifying because the unknown is always scary. But at some point, you have to ask yourself, do I want to stay stuck in this loop? Or do I want to give myself a chance at something better? It's like this. Imagine you're holding onto a rope, right? The rope represents the past, and the longer you hold onto it, the more it digs into your hands, the more it hurts. But because you're scared of what's going to happen if you let go, you keep gripping it. Eventually, though, the pain of holding on becomes greater than the fear of letting go. And that's the moment you realize it's time to loosen your grip. Letting go is also about forgiving yourself. We hold on to so much guilt, so much regret. We replay conversations in our heads. What if I'd said this? What if I'd done that differently? And we get trapped in this cycle of blaming ourselves for what happened. But the truth is, the past is done. There's nothing you can do to change it. The only thing you have control over now is how you choose to move forward. I remember a time in my life when I had to let go of someone I loved deeply. It felt like a part of me was being ripped away, and for a while, I didn't want to move on. It felt like if I did, I was betraying those memories, like I was letting go of a piece of myself. But over time, I learned that moving on doesn't mean erasing the past. It just means accepting it for what it was and allowing yourself to evolve. If you're finding it hard to move on right now, I want you to ask yourself, what am I gaining by holding on? Because the truth is, holding on to the past is preventing you from moving forward. You can't open new doors when you're still clinging to the old ones. And here's the kicker. Letting go isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily practice. Some days you'll feel like you've moved on, and other days it'll hit you like a truck. But that's okay. The process of letting go is not linear. It's messy, it's painful, but it's also freeing. The art of letting go isn't about forgetting, it's about accepting. It's about making peace with the past and giving yourself permission to move forward. And once you do, you'll find that the weight you've been carrying for so long starts to lift, and suddenly, life feels a little bit lighter.